Hey guys, welcome back to Heiko Shaves. My name is Heiko and obviously it's time for another shave. I don't know if you guys remember, but about 4 weeks ago we had a Maxwell June razor here on the channel, which I bought with my own money. I just stumbled across it on the internet and I immediately liked it, what I saw. It was an $89 razor, all completely made here in the United States, and I wanted to review it, so I just ordered one. Then I reviewed it here on the channel and immediately fell in love with this thing. So they make 3 MJ razors. Maxwell June makes the MJ, which everything started with, which is their kind of everyday razor, everyday shaving razor. Then they added the SX and the EX on both sides of it. The SX is for sensitive skin, so they dialed down the exposure, blade exposure, just a tiny little bit to make it a little bit milder, so that even the guy with the most sensitive skin can still use it and be happy with it. So the MJ in the middle of it with its everyday performance, and then the SX on the sensitive side and the EX on the a little bit more efficient side. But as you can see in the review that I posted 4 weeks ago, the EX is in itself very, very enjoyable, absolutely not overly aggressive or anything, but it's just efficient enough. So if you have like the wiry stubbles and you need to get rid of a multi-day growth, it still can do it while being enjoyable and mild in feel, and it slices right through. So I really fell in love with the EX. You guys know that I am a big fan of the little bit more aggressive, a little bit more efficient razor side. And the EX, even though it feels very, very mild, it's super efficient. And so yeah, I really liked it. And after this video, I reached out to Maxwell June. Hey, here's Heiko from Heiko Shaves. Don't know if you guys remember. And I asked if it would be possible for them to send me the missing pieces of the trilogy. So the MJ, the SX, and the EX. And then also I want to show the long and the short handle so that you guys know what that looks like. And then we can weigh one with a short handle and a long handle and kind of make comparisons. And they happily agreed to send me the missing 2 razors, which are in these boxes here. I don't know exactly which one is in which box, but let's just open it up. I only cut the tape. I haven't even taken them out of the box yet. So it comes in cardboard box. Everything here is recyclable. There is no plastic used. So the packaging engineer that works for Maxwell June really does a good job to make it a simple packaging system, which is very recyclable and doesn't use any plastic. Here, this is the long handle, and it says SX on the top cap here. A couple strings here, no zip ties. Let's hope I can quickly open this up. I do, however, this time put a pocket knife in my pocket, so we can totally just snip those 2 little strings. You can also undo it if you have some sharp fingernails. You can undo the knots and then keep the string, you know, pack up your Christmas gift with it. Anyways, let's not, oh, it's pretty strong string. Here we go. So that's the long handle MJ SX, and how to know which version you have is clearly marked here on the top cap. Actually, what I was told, my friends over at Maxwell June, they told me that the only part that is different between the 3 razors that I now have is the top cap. So you can start out, let's say you want a really mild one, a really sensitive skin compatible razor, and you buy the SX, and then you think, oh, maybe I could survive a little bit more efficiency, and you can buy the MJ top cap or even the EX top cap and still use the same base plate and the same handle. So here now, long and short handle next to each other. This is the EX and this is the SX. And let's just open the last box here as well. Same cardboard box, obviously. Same cardboard inlay here as a little protector. Rob, that's my contact over at Maxwell June. He gave me a bunch of information of, you know, their idea behind this whole trilogy of razors, why they did it the way they did it, and you know, the whole idea behind it. And I really appreciate the information. So here's the last one. This is now the MJ, so the middle piece of the set of 3. And we're just using my short fingernails to undo the little knots here in that little string. He also told me that they're working on a few other things which may or may not come out in the future, so keep your eyes peeled. They will have other handle solutions maybe. And they also sent me a little 3D printed device here, which I will just show you. They currently don't have that for sale, so don't go storming the online store. They don't have that for sale yet, but maybe that's going to come out if it actually will be useful for people. So now here is the all 3 versions: the short handle EX that I bought, and then a long handled MJ and a long handled SX or MJ SX. So a little bit more efficiency, daily comfort, and the one for sensitive skin. And all that gets changed between those 3 versions is the top cap. So you can swap them around and keep the base plate, keep the handle, it's all the same. So they started with the MJ, and then they went from there and made it a little milder, a little bit more sensitive skin compatible with the SX. And then they went up and added a little bit more efficiency with the EX. And I want to try out the one in the middle. I may or may not have a little too much growth. I haven't shaved in 5 days. I just wanted to grow it out so you guys can actually see that there is a real result. And Maxwell June, on their webpage, they are selling the green Astra blades. And since they do that, so I decided we're going to get a pack out. Here's an open pack of Astra green. Here's one fresh one. And we are going to use that today. So let's put a few things out of the way, make sure I actually pick the correct one, and then we're gonna get into the shave. So we have everything assembled here. The Astra Green, the Maxwell MJ. I wanna use the Italian product Prep, which has been in production for pretty much virtually forever. It somewhere says that here, production. They've been in business, Coswell, 1961. So yeah, it's one of those universal products. So if you have sore feet, you can put it on it. You can use it as pre-shave. If you have a sunburn, you can put it on it. It's pretty thick, actually. It's just a cream that gives your skin some protection. If you have a mosquito bite, you can put it on it to help with itchiness. And it's advertised as a pre-shave. So, skin protection applied. So instead of how we usually do it, like put the top cap on your hand and then put the blade on top, Rob from Maxwell June has sent me this little gadget. I don't know, he didn't say if I can share this with you guys. Maxwell June at the bottom. It's a 3D printed device that you can just hold on to, and it's specifically designed for the MJ razor. So you can drop your top cap in there, and then you can take your Astra blade or otherwise and just drop it in there. It perfectly aligns the blade inside this little cradle. Then you put your base plate on it. Again, have no alignment problems. And then you just take your handle and screw down your handle. So now we have a MJ by Maxwell June loaded with a Astra blade, and besides unwrapping the razor blade, we never really touched the blade. So, you know, maybe that is a good idea for someone who has you know, problems with dexterity. They can't hold onto those flimsy little blades, and they're always afraid cutting themselves. You can, of course, also do that on the countertop. You don't have to hold it mid-air like I just did. You just put it down, drop it all individually in there, and then just take your handle and screw your handle on. So I think this is actually a pretty cool little product. And I would say if you put in an order for one of the Maxwell June razors and want to try it out following my recommendation, we'll see how this performs here. I would maybe mention, hey, can I have one of those 3D printed little contraptions as well? Maybe they will sell you one, or who knows. I just checked on their webpage. It's not currently available. At least I couldn't find it. But I think that is a pretty cool idea. And if you go to Maxwell June's webpage, you will also find out that for $35, you can buy an extra top cap. Like I said, the three SX, MJ, and EX, they are interchangeable, and you can just buy the top cap. I think that is very cool. So we have pre-shave in our face. I have a scuttle sitting here. My good feller smile. I can't speak. Here's my good feller smile filled with warm water. My sink is filled with warm water. I have my emesis basin filled with warm water. I have my VW bus cup here sitting with a Yachi Badger. It's soaking and getting softer as we speak. And one of my favorite winter scents, or soaps I should say, is Cella. Typical smell of almonds. Smells like marzipan. So if you have never tried Cella, very inexpensive on Amazon. You can get that stuff anywhere. And it smells like marzipan. Reminds me of the stuff that my grandmother gave me when I was a kid. Marzipan coated in chocolate for Christmas, and I really like the scent. So prep as pre-shave, and now we're gonna go into prepping for our shave here. Let me grab my little scoop something out of our Cella container. It's kind of medium hard, I would say. And then we're gonna smear that at the bottom of my scuttle. Throw the spoon in my warm water so it can dissolve the rest of the soap that's stuck to it. Now I have soap on my finger. Okay, fresh towel sitting here. I also have the Cella Balsamo Dopo Bara aftershave balm. Unfortunately, it does not match the scent at all. It's a little bit more generic, just a kind of a okay scent, but it doesn't smell like almonds anymore. That's very unfortunate. We're also going to use my wrinkled bottle of Thayer's. They changed the design. Now they don't have a paper label anymore, so this wrinkliness from just humidity doesn't happen anymore, but the stuff is the same. It's the facial toner by Thayer's, witch hazel water with some aloe in it, and that's what we're going to use as well. All right, I think we're all set. Let's get my pre-soaked brush out of the cup here, squeeze out most of the water, and then we're just going to go right into my scuttle. You can hear the water sloshing around in there. Funny thing was, when I bought this scuttle from Goodfeller Smile, it didn't come with that cork. I actually had to go to the hardware store and find a little cork matching the opening in my scuttle. So I wish they would either provide one that is a perfect match for the opening. Yeah, that's what I would wish for. Makes it a little bit more complete product. The Badger brush here is a Yachi 24mm Badger. That was a brush when I first got it from Yachi. It was pretty stinky, so we did all kinds of treatment of the knot to get rid of the smell. But it has worked and it doesn't stink anymore and has broken down really nicely. It's actually a really enjoyable soft Badger brush now. Especially when I want to do like a winter shave with a scuttle and pre-soak this in hot water, then it really makes for an enjoyable shave, because then the brush is warm, the lather is warm, my water is warm, everything is warm. It's a kind of a nasty day outside. It's raining right now, it's really windy. You might hear the wind here and there. All right, look at that. There is lots of lather to go around here. That's plenty. I'm just gonna put a little bit of water over our prep cream to help out the lather, that it doesn't dry up as soon as I add it to my face. And then historically, I've always been making a lot of mess while lathering, so I always scrape off most of it off the sides, and then I bring the lather into my face. And then there's plenty more where that came from. And you can always add a little bit of water. You want it shiny. Shiny is a good indication for it being hydrated correctly or sufficiently. When you have relatively long stubbles, so there is a lot of stuff to shave off, it's always a good idea to lather a little longer, to add a little bit more water, to really soak those stubbles, soften them up. Makes it easier for the razor to cut it off. Okay, let's put that right in the scuttle so it stays warm. A little bit of cleanup, like that. All right, Maxwell MJ, the everyday comfort. Here we go. We're gonna do with the grain up here and against the grain down there. And an Astra blade, brand new out of package. We'll see how that all goes, but so far it feels very mild, very gentle. Yeah, absolutely no risk of cutting myself. I mentioned in the previous video how they curve the blade and tension the blade and really control the leading edge of the blade to control it, to get it to the point where the blade is stable. There's no flexing going on. And what the top cap does here in this case is literally controlling the exposure. So the EX that I reviewed previously has a little bit of positive exposure. This one is very neutral, and then the SX is a little bit negative, but very tiny little amounts. Very good. Now, there's absolutely no fear of cutting myself. This is a very pleasant razor. Very nice. Let's zoom in a little bit here. Yeah, very good, very good. Very good. So, got everything covered here. This is already a really good result. You saw me blade buffing a little bit. Since I had so much stubble there, a milder razor has its work cut out for itself if you use a mild razor for lots of stubble. So, but with a little bit of blade buffing, we're already down to about 80% here. I mentioned that in my EX review, they actually got it right. They got the edges of the base plate all rounded over. This whole razor feels so comfortable on the skin. There is no sharp corner. The blade tabs are covered over. There is no risk of scratching yourself or cutting yourself. This is really one of those razors that you can just blindfold at 6 a.m. and go shaving. And you know, if you miss a piece, doesn't matter, but you are not gonna cut yourself. This is really very, very enjoyable. And as they mentioned in their explanation, Rob gave me lots of explanations to their product lineup and all that. This is meant to be a neutral blade exposure, and they control that with the curvature of the blade. And that's exactly what the interchangeable base plates do. You know, on the EX, you just get a little bit more blade exposure. The top cap opens up a little bit more, and the SX makes it absolutely a pleasant, mild little razor for people that have just very sensitive skin. So now we're gonna lather up again. Let's add a little bit more water here. I usually stick with 2 passes. So I like to use equipment that gets the first pass gets the majority of the stubbles out of my face. And then the second pass cleans it up. I've now just been recently asked, so why do you only shave with the grain on my upper lip? And I've explained that a few times. So I have the densest part of my beard growth is my mustache, so to speak. And if I try to go against the grain on my upper lip, I will regret it for the rest of the day. I will have a razor burn, discomfort on my upper lip. And so I decided at some point, I'm just not doing that anymore. And then I used to always do with the grain, across the grain, and against the grain. And I would get ingrown hair here in my jawline section. So I decided, you know, I just have to live with how my skin is and how my skin reacts to things. And so I ended up always just doing 2 passes. So on the second pass, we're going to go across the grain. So at a 90-degree angle to the growth direction. Like that. And I can also, I do that sometimes, go across the grain on my upper lip, but that's really the extent I can do on my upper lip. And I can totally do this with the MJ. It is a very pleasant little razor. Like I said, $89 for a US made stainless steel razor, made in Chicago. Totally heirloom quality. Very good. And then earlier we did against the grain down here. Now we're gonna go with the grain. That's just my little shaving procedure here. Oh yeah, very good. There's absolutely no fear of cutting myself. So this could be one of those autopilot razors. Good. Let's do a quick little inspection. Oh, I had a little bump there. Now that's fine. That wasn't the razor. That's just my skin. I'm like in old man puberty, I guess. Yeah, very nice and clean, very nice. And of course there is still places where I feel a little bit of leftover, but that is also because my skin is currently wet. I just shaved and pulled with a razor blade on every single stubble here. If you then wash off, dry off, put your aftershave on, and then inspect one more time, you will feel that your skin is absolutely smooth. There is no reason, at least for me, to go after those a little bit that I can still feel, because I know if I shave too close, especially down here in my jawline section, I will get ingrown hair, and I just can't do that. This will completely throw a wrench in the gearbox of Heiko Shaves. Then I have ingrown hair down here, and I can't make any videos for you guys. I can't try out new razors and all that stuff. So 2 passes, result is perfect. I like it. Absolutely no irritation. This razor is an absolute pleasure to shave with. Even though, keep in mind, I am a guy that really leans a little bit more towards the bladey feel. So I like to have a little bit more blade feel. I like the more aggressive razors where even with 1 pass, you can almost get it done in the morning. But this one is really, if you shave every day or every other day, this is the ticket to go. And then in our next video, we're gonna try out, no, that's the wrong one, the SX. and we will see. I will intentionally just have a day or two of growth and use the SX for its intended purpose. For people that have sensitive skin, that shave every day, and we will see how super comfortable this one is going to be compared to the MJ. And eventually we're going to stack them up against each other. One last thing that I want to do is comparison weigh. The short handle EX weighs 105.3 grams and the long handle SX weighs 106.56. So there's only a gram or so difference between the short and the long handle. It's actually really surprising. But yeah, the next one we're going to try is the SX in upcoming videos. So stay tuned for that. Let's wash off. Very, very good. Yeah, this razor absolutely pleasure to use. No skin irritation whatsoever, and you know, that is always a plus. Now the Thayers, the wrinkled bottle Thayers is coming out. Just pour some in my hand here, and then we're gonna rub that in. Facial toner is supposed to suck the skin together, get rid of the wrinkles. You can put that over your entire face if you want to. And then once that has evaporated a little bit, so that only takes a little while. Very good. We're gonna grab the Balsamo Dopo Bara by Cella. And they have been in business since 1899, supposedly. So also a very old product, just like the Italian Prep, both from Italy. If you have never tried this, give it a try. If you don't like it, you can give it to your wife and she can use that as her night cream or her morning cream or her anti-mosquito bite cream. Here we go. Cella Aftershave Balm. This actually has a little bit more of a fruity, kind of a more a fresh scent than the Cella almond scent. And I really like the almond scent. I wish they would match that a little better. But yeah, very creamy, very rich. Put it on my hands here as well, you know, can't hurt. So that's perfect. So far we have tried the EX and I absolutely am a fan of this razor. It's been sitting here in my everyday use corner, often found with a blade in it. I just recently threw a blade away because we were at like shave number 6 or 7. So it definitely needs a new shave, but this thing has been one of my go-tos ever since I tried it. So big fan of this. And then this one here, absolutely agree with their assessment. This is comfort for everyday shave. A little bit milder, just a tiny little minute amount milder than the EX. This is where they started out geometry-wise, and they developed from there. And with those 3 razors, the SX, the MJ, and the EX, they want to cover as much of a customer base. So there is something for everyone. And then the cool thing is that you can swap out the top caps. So if you start out with an SX and you don't like it or it's too mild, you can go up a step or 2. And costs you another $35 to convert your MJ into an EX or your SX into an MJ. You get my drift. So big fan. I like the long handle as well. I tend to lean towards the shorter handles that I kind of grab like this. Even have my pinky under here. The long handle is just a smidge longer. You know, there is something for everyone. And I made some suggestions, so some feedback from the first EX razor video was why not have a little bit lighter handle, because over 100 grams for some guys that is just too much. They can't hold 100 grams of razor up for so long. And I suggested maybe a hollowed out handle to make it lighter. And there is something on the drawing board, so stay tuned. Stay tuned. Look on the Maxwell June webpage. It's just before Christmas. Today is the 21st. This is most likely going to be my last video for you guys this year. We're going to go on a trip on Tuesday, so we're going to be gone for Christmas all the way till New Year's. I don't think I'm going to bring camera gear and do a travel shave, but I just wanted to take a moment to wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And thanks for your support this year. Thanks for all your likes, your comments, and support of this channel. And I will see you in the new year in 2026 with a new razor. If you still want to put a order in for one of those puppies, be quick. It's going to be tight. They're not going to get it to you before Christmas. But hey, shopping after Christmas is fun too. Alrighty guys, that's it. I will see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.